So the says here, now miknok sasapam. Let's get a little bit deep. Haravona osachisaron. The hunger is a sign that one is lacking. If you're missing food, that's what makes you hungry. So too it is by all ambitions. Person who has an ambition, he's missing something. Zosomeres, that means to tell us, Hashifoi koach hamoshech. Koach hamoshech is like gravity. So it's I think it's a centripetal force is the word, where things are drawn to a person. It pulls towards a person things which will fulfill his lack, fill up the hole which is within him. So to satisfaction. That's when the chisaron is full. Kamur, like we said, hashifos tolos koach hanatila elem sova. If you actually, we said last week, if the ambition is one, which is just like most human ambitions, then it's endless. Because it's not that you want the thing, you want everything which is outside of you. So therefore, you want to keep, it's never going to get full. You're going to keep wanting more and more and more, whatever's outside of you to incorporate it. And that will never get full. Now, but what does it mean to be a giver? And then it's not a power which draws. To give emanates not from missing something, but having achieved some level of perfection. Now, it doesn't mean you're a perfect person. None of us are perfect. But it means that you have something in which you acquired, which you can share with other people. I have this shleimus in something, whatever it is, and I can share that shleimus with other people. That's what it means to be a nosei. We say that my cup runneth over, right? So whatever the cup is full with, the nesina is that running over of the cup. What comes out of it because you already have filled yourself in this thing. Unva'er, let's explain. Ish kazeh, a person asher davar chomi enenu shaveh beinav lisanyen bo, the person who's not concerned, he doesn't care about material stuff. He's happy with whatever he has. Whatever he gets, he's satisfied. Zui birchas hakel baruch hu, that's a blessing from Kodesh Baruch Hu. That you should eat and be satisfied. There's a great gift from Kodesh Baruch Hu. A person can be complete and not lacking. That's what he's there for. So it says that's a person. Every person has this power. It's not to be a giver. You have to be a special person. It has to be that you're a person who's sameach b'chalko. You feel, wow, look what I have, and if I have it, I can share with other people. Whatever it is, it can be material. It could be material. It could be like Rav Dessler says. It seems to imply here something which is not material, a trait which I have, a talent which I have, something which I possess. I can give to others, no matter what it is, and no matter what level it is. Chazal say, "Ezu ashir sameach b'chelko." Who's rich? Somebody is happy in his portion. They, in their tremendous wisdom, they checked up people. And they said, somebody who perfects himself with the perfection of his soul, he'll be satisfied and won't be hungry. And this person who is happy in his portion and doesn't have a desire to add to his material existence, who are shir, he's rich. But other people, most people, they're always lacking. Aniyim, they're impoverished, re'evim, and they're hungry. I think I told you once about the fire yogi. Did I tell you about the fire yogi? No? There's a very cool YouTube video, which you should definitely watch, about the fire yogi. Fire yogi is a yogi in India who rolls around in fire. He sacrifices himself to the elephant god every so often. and he rolls around fire for, you see, he's rolling around the fire, he doesn't get burnt. And he just, even what he's wearing doesn't get burnt. And he claims he could teach this to anybody, and but it involves meditation, and it also involves breathing. And when he's in this ecstatic state, he only takes one breath every 5 minutes, and that helps him somehow protect his body from getting burnt by the fire. And if he's Mesiach Das, so then he is Mesiach Das, so then he can get burnt. So it's a fascinating video, and I used to show it in school, but this year I got in trouble showing it, so I'm not sure I'm going to show it anymore. But it teaches one or two things: either that Avodah Zarah still exists and it's real and has power, or that the human mind is capable of incredible feats which we don't normally perceive. So I would like to believe the latter, but it could be the former. Anyway, he eats 2 bananas twice a day, together with a cup of milk. That's all he eats. He hasn't had a cup of water since 1973 or something. So just 2 bananas every day with a cup of milk twice a day. That's all he eats. So they asked him, in the video, they asked him, don't you miss eating? Don't you feel, that you're missing this pleasure and this obviously something which is other people enjoy very much. And he says, I wish you could enjoy what I enjoy as a result of not eating. In other words, he's saying that the fact that he limits himself to the 2 bananas twice a day and a cup of milk, that actually is something which allows him to be greater in his enjoyment, in his pleasure, than those of us who eat all sorts of delicacies and think that we're achieving pleasure that way. So that's what Chazal really tells us when they say, you should eat bread and water, that a person who's a sameach bechelko means that he doesn't find his simcha in material fulfillment. So we understand sameach bechelko to mean he's happy with what he has. No. It's not that way. He's happy because he has the happiness of being a good person, have inner peace, whatever it is. And of course, therefore, his chelik is enough for him. His happiness, he gets a different way than other people get it. And the way other people get it, of course, is a way in which they constantly need more and more and more, right? If you have one delicacy today, it's not enough tomorrow. You have to have another delicacy, right? I was always, to me, it was amazing when the first time I saw a charcuterie board. I never, it's something which I never saw before, and all of a sudden, obviously, it's a higher madrega in Gashmius. So these things, obviously, one level. Once I thought it was sushi. Sushi nowadays is nothing. So you have to go higher madrega. You have to go this and that, the other thing. So, yeah.
You can only I'm thinking, but it seems like you can only tell a usher in this sense if the person is in fact an ani. Meaning, if a person has what they need, then you can't say, like, you have what you need. How can you be considered?
So the thing is that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, we know, was very, very rich, and he said at the time he died that he didn't derive any pleasures from this world. And the Gemara says at the same time he had all sorts of delicacies on his table, all sorts of out-of-season fruits and vegetables. So obviously there's a way in which one can engage in these, perhaps not on our level, but somebody can engage in these things and still be completely sameach b'chalko in the way that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was. There was a simcha did not come, even though he had this on his table, he didn't have simcha from this. I don't think it's not the same thing, but they say about the Rishon. In Rishon, they have the original Hasidic Rebbes were always big into splendor. They had not castles, they had mansions and fancy clothes and everything. So they say about the original Rishon, I don't know if it's true or not, but they said that he had gold shoes with no soles. So in other words, there was a certain aura on the outside which didn't change him on the inside. So it's possible. I mean, I don't know if I not for me, but there is such a thing. So he says, Koach hanasina einenu shore ela sameach. Amazing statement. Look at that again. Koach hanasina einenu shore ela al hasameach lo rak mistapek bechelko. Only a person who's happy in what he has, not just that he suffices. Everybody could say, you know what, okay, this is what I have. I wish I had more, right? Most of us say that. It needs to be included, right? We don't say what we think, because we interpret Sameach Chelko for ourselves is that, okay, I make do. No, that's not enough. The making do is not Sameach Chelko. Sameach Chelko means you're happy where you are. You don't need something else to make you happy. You're not just getting along. No, you're happy. Who v'rak only such a person. Hino kinahar, he's like a river. Asher meimov yirboyun, whose waters will grow. Yavol kol yosav and go over all its banks. Halora isok yasameach, kol shetigdal simchaso yirchav levavo. Now this is something which we mentioned before. Somebody who's happy. No, you can't be happy in a vacuum. Most people are not happy in a vacuum. A person happy in a vacuum without other people, then it's weird. Right? We have to. The real happiness involves being together with other people, whether it's kiddush or bar mitzvah or whatever it is. There's no real happiness doesn't happen by oneself. So it's saying that somebody who's sameach, the more happy you are, it expands your heart. V'yivakeshes or avav lehenos imo b'simchas libo. The more happy you are, the more you want other people to participate. The more you want to be able to share what you have with other people. So somebody who's besimcha, like we said, sameach chelko again, he's sameach because he doesn't need anything more. So somebody who's besimcha is somebody who's then going to try and share, to give to other people. Now, of course, the ultimate simcha, we know we say in davening every morning, those say particularly the Zimra, Yismach le mevakshe Hashem. Yismach le mevakshe Hashem is a very strange pasuk, because Yismach le mevakshe Hashem literally means people are happy who are looking for God. So the Rebbe Rabbeinu Pashischa asks, he says, I understand. If you lost your wallet, when are you happy? When you're looking for your wallet, or when you find your wallet? It should say Yismach le mevakshe Hashem. Say Yismach le motzei Hashem. The people who find God, they're happy. Not people who are looking for God. They should be miserable. So what does it mean Yismach le mevakshe Hashem? So Yismach le mevakshe Hashem says the Rebbe Rabbeinu, he says that somebody who has a meaningful quest in life is happy. Somebody who doesn't have a meaningful quest in life is not happy. Looking for wallet is not a meaningful quest. Looking for Hashem is a meaningful quest. So therefore, a person who's on that path finds meaning in every step. And that step, when he gets that step, he wants to share that step with other people. Because, look at this, what I found. Now I have to tell you, Rav Dessler brings down somewhere else, and I find this very difficult. I don't know what to do with it because it doesn't speak to me at all. He said, the Alter from Kelm, if he had a new insight or understanding into something, he would not share it with anybody else until its impact on him wore off. And there were certain insights he had, according to Rav Dessler, which he kept to himself for 20 years. Till they finally wore off, and then he shared them with others. Because he says something which you share with others, it dissipates. It doesn't have the same impact on you anymore. But I guess, to me, I can't relate to that. Because to me, if I come up with this new insight, I want to share it right away. Maybe because I want to show off. But I want to share it with other people. But Alter from Kelm, evidently he had a lot to share. And certain things he kept to himself because they had more of an impact. But generally speaking, a person who has something which makes them happy wants to share that thing with other people because it also enhances his symbol. It's good for him. But he wants to share with other people because if I'm happy, I want other people to be happy as well. Let's turn the page. And that's a giver. Who Asher Baruchnius Yisado, he finds his basis in spirituality. He's always looking to look for Hashem. He looks for Hashem in everything and finds the Chesed Hashem in anything, whether it's large or small. Chesed Hashem which never cease. That's Tovasov Asher Ein Kates Lahem, and his kindnesses to which there is no end. When he sees this, he's going to be very happy with these gifts. He's always going to be satisfied. From this happiness and satisfaction, he comes to want to give and want to love. The ambition to do good for good doesn't come from a lack, as the negative ambition does, but rather from connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the level of people, tzaddikim, who want to serve Hashem out of love. They want to love other people as well. Chazal already explained this when they say, he mentioned already before, it's a very difficult Chazal. Says that somebody who works and derives benefit from his work is greater than Yirei Shamayim. Right? It's a very difficult thing to say, what Chazal are saying with this. So he says, Lemor tells us, Lemor, to the point that we learned rather, somebody who enjoys what they're doing. He doesn't mean, normally understand an enemy kapo means he benefits from what he's doing. But that's not what it means according to Rav Dessler. According to Dessler means he enjoys what he's doing. If you enjoy what you're doing, then Asher Yisaveh Tamid Liten Yosem Asher Yitol. He wants to, and he also wants to give more than he takes. So then, he is somebody who acquires the power to give. He's greater than Yirei Shamayim. Why? Because the giver does things because he loves Hashem. And the level of Ava is greater than Yira. So he's saying that a person who's Nene Ikia Kapo, again, he gets the benefit, he enjoys what he's doing. If you enjoy what you're doing, you feel a sense of happiness in what you're doing, then you can come to love. Fear usually doesn't lead to love, although one could debate that. But he's saying fear doesn't lead to love. Fear is not the same level as love. Even awe, according to Rav Dessler, is not the same as love. Well, that's a big issue in Ba'al Machshava. What's higher, Avas Hashem or Yiras Aromamus? But without getting it, that the simple approach is that Avas Hashem is greater, love is greater. So a person who's then Megia Kapo, a person who enjoys what he's doing, and he's doing it l'shem shamayim, obviously. So then everything he does, he is something where he's running over, and he's like the river which runs over and wants to give to others. But there's a flip side of this. Somebody who has rachamim, has pity, and bears a burden with his friend. These are among the highest levels of human midos, to actually be nosi b'olam chavero. It's very rare. People actually especially Americans, we almost never are nosi b'olam chavero because we're very private people. Right? We don't tell people about things which are wrong in our lives, and we don't share things which are private, and therefore it's very hard for a person to be nosi b'ol with another person. And nosi b'olam chavero is a very elusive midah to have. So something what Chazal say, you can only be kind of Torah if you're nosi b'olam chavero. At the same time, it's not so simple. But he says, "Abavahem yitzdaru b'tzoras chavreim." In order to do this, you have to have anguish in your friend's anguish. The Hazar Savak has an amazing piece in which he says that a person to be Mesameach Chosan is really being nosei b'olam chavero, because you really should say to him, you know what, tomorrow you're going to die, so don't be so happy today. But we have to try and make him happy because because it's supposed to be happy and then he gets married, even though tomorrow you're going to die. Eventually you're going to die. So Nosim Chaver means you have to make a special effort to overcome that reality and help him and make him happy anyway. But that's not the simple meaning of Nosim Chavero. Simple meaning of Nosim Chavero is if he feels bad, I have to feel bad. So that's they say, I forget which Lubavitch Rebbe it was, that after somebody used to come into him, his Gabbai used to bring a new shirt. Because when somebody used to come into him with a tzara, he got so upset. He started crying and sweating, and the shirt would get all wet. So they had to change shirts for the next person to come in. Okay, whether it's true or not, it's an interesting story. So the idea is that Nosim Chavero means that you put yourself in his place. And there's nothing to do with Simcha, right? I was Nosim Chavero, work with Simcha. It's as if you're lacking what he's lacking. And the hatava with others is going to make me feel better. Because I feel bad, and now I need to make us feel better. Is that not the same idea as a person has negative ambitions? I feel bad now, have to overcome that. Just like the bad negative ones. So he says, this is what he's going to explain next paragraph. So in the meantime, what we learned tonight is that good ambition is giving, and there's ambition to give, and the ambition to give does not come from a chisaron, it comes from simcha, and the sameach bechelko. Somebody who has a chelik, which they have, which they accomplished, and they're happy in it, they want to give. And that's, of course, what Purim is about. So the whole idea of Simchas Purim is to be your sameach bechelko, and you give shalach monos, and matonas lev yoinim, because it adds to your simcha. You feel that there's this tremendous connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu today, because Purim is Purim, and if you feel a tremendous connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you want to reach out to other people also, and connect to them. So therefore, that's what the idea, it's not that Purim is happy, and okay, it's happy, let's make it a day when people can collect money. Right, and so it's a day when people are happy, so let's make people spend money on expensive mashal chmonos. No, that's supposed to be the overflow of real happiness in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Is supposed to be the desire to give to other people. Now, of course, nowadays when people get overloaded on Purim, but the idea behind that Mishlach Manos Matanos Lebyonim is, I feel that tremendous simcha being connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want to share with other people. Okay, we'll stop here for tonight.
Sure.